at, I won't say which, but I was looking at an incubator's roster, and it's one of the 6 in LA. Mm-hmm. And I looked at the 10 or whatever, things, and I met with 2 or 3 of the companies, and I was like, these ideas are bad.
Yeah, there's some of that going around for sure.
Yeah. I was like, and I'm not going to say who it is because I don't want to say bad things about entrepreneurs because I'm a fan of entrepreneurs, but it just was like, and I met with 2 of them, and I was like, did they tell you that this was a good idea because did they tell you this was good this was good execution because all you've done here is execute Pinterest. You've rebuilt Pinterest. Mm-hmm. And
there's a lot of
not as well. So if you're going to rebuild Pinterest, you have an obligation to do it better, and you have an obligation to have a better idea. You don't have either. And the guy's like, yeah, but if you give us, $500,000, we'll come up with a better idea. I was like, that's not how it works. Yeah. That's not how it works. You have to build something, bring a better mousetrap, and then get the money. Unless you're Mark Pincus or, whatever, you're somebody who's got a track record. Like, you can't come in here after you spent 12 weeks at an incubator and you made something that's lame and then tell me that if I give you more money, you're going to make something that's not lame. That's not how it works, guys. That was your opportunity. Those 12 weeks. And he's like, you know what? I kind of agree with what you're saying, the guy said. I said, well, why did you do it? He goes, the guy running the incubator said to do it. I said, what's his track record? He's like, well, science has got Peter Pham and it's got Mike Jones. Like, these guys have serious track records. But I'm starting to look at these, like the 11th, 12th, and 13th incubator and the track records of the people running them.
Yeah, well, the longer it goes on, the first few incubators in LA could round up the people who really did have great teams.
Really, and you know what?
Ideas.
It's also like, as somebody's saying, Kaya is saying in the chat room, it's also like there's only a certain amount of attention consumers have to give to products. You're trying to get people's attention for Whittleby. Like, how hard is it? Like, you have to buy traffic.
There's a lot of noise. Yeah.
There's a lot of noise, and how do you build that relationship with them? This could be the end of it. This could be the end of it. Like, what are the next 100 Y Combinator companies? Like, what is their place in the world? Or the next whatever.
Some of those do come out of Y Combinator and 500 Startups. Nothing against Dave because I think he's brilliant. I love everything they do. But some of those companies do come out and I'm like, what is this? It's so small. Its service is such a small world. And sometimes it serves the tech world, which is small, by the way. Right. We're still in a niche community. It feels like, everyone's using Facebook. No. Tech is still niche. Yeah. And so when you're serving a small niche within a niche, I just wonder about is it a small feature of a large product?
Yeah. I think what we're going to see is just, and this is where Marissa, actually, circling back to the first story, could do some damage. She could go in and look. If I'm Marissa, I just take one of my researchers. I'm like, get me every Y Combinator company that hasn't raised an A round, and I want them to come through and meet with us. Just call them in and say, we're really interested in what you're working on. They come in. That's a lie. We're really interested in hiring you, right? So you just start bringing in the guys who can't get and the gals who can't get their A round done. If you're graduated for more than 12 months, 18 months, and you have no A round, it's probably going to end soon. And you're probably scared, S-less, that you're going to run out of money. You got single-digit months left. And I would just round up all those people. Hey, would you like to save face? Great. Would you like to pay back your investors? Great. Would you like to have a 6-figure job? Great. Would you like to be on a winning team? Great. Would you like to F with Flickr and make it better? Good. You're hired. Boom. Yeah. And just start letting everybody save face.
The thing is, though,
a race to save face. That's what we're going to see.
They need that talent. Steve Jobs had that interview, the sort of uncut version that was released recently. He talked about the A players versus the B players and the C players. Yeah. Like we talked about earlier, the incubators may be having B and C players, and Yahoo needs A players right now because A players bring other A players. That's also
true.
The key.
That's true. This is the real conundrum she's in. If you're still working at Yahoo through 5 CEOs in less than 3 years, what does that say about you if you're still there in the boom time? I don't mean to dig anybody at Yahoo. There may be a reason to stay. You may love your coworkers and your product. But in general, in a world of this much opportunity, with Facebook calling, Google calling, Instagram calling, Twitter calling, Foursquare calling, with everybody calling constantly and recruiters constantly calling, what's left in those buildings? She's going to cut 5,000 people. 5,000 people gone. And then it's going to be like, is Marissa... Then that's the hard work. Yeah. And we'll see, what our reputation is like when she has to fire 5,000 people. That's a really hard thing to do. I think she's going to do it. She has no choice. And if she does it, it will actually probably lighten everybody's load. I don't know.
That's a lot of people.
What do you do, Bill? How does that occur as an angel investor? When people run out of money, how do you do that, save face, acquisition hire thing? I mean, you've seen it happen. You've no stories. How does that go down?
Right. There is just no magic. You basically whip out the Rolodex and you make phone calls and you try and just be honest up front with the people you're talking to and just be like, look, the startup over here is out of money. I think there's a good fit, and try and do it that way. But it's brutal. I mean, there is no magic. I've been fortunate I haven't had to do that a lot. So it's just not a lot of fun.
Yeah. But that's what happens. You need to call up, hey, listen, here's a company. They've had modest success. They've got an 8-person team, a 15-person team. They've got X months of runway. They would be great for your team. Your team's winning. And I think that's fine. It's going to be like a consolidation. But this is like right now we're in an NBA with, instead of 30 teams, we have 300 or 3,000.
Yeah.
Like there has to be some consolidation. And it'll be good for the industry.
Give it a year and it's going to be a completely different landscape. Those guys are going to run out of money. The couple earlier, Y Combinator and the other startups. Just going to be really hungry.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, Y Combinator might be immune to this. They might have such a good reputation right now that they can still put out 60 or 70, and Techstars probably does. But it's going to definitely, just based on talent. There's nobody left to start these companies. When the number 5 person in a company starts a company, like, not every time is the number 3 or 4 person in a company like ready to take those those reins on.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like people are just going deeper and deeper down the bench. It's like the number 15 guy on the bench is like, run your own NBA team. It's just not sustainable.